loan. So John Fussell, please, Head of Community Sport and Partnerships.
And David Bailey.
And David. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Before we introduce the report, I'd just like to acknowledge the Christchurch, the Canterbury Cricket Trust, and the work that they do, and reaffirm the valued relationship when council works with community groups of all shapes and sizes and does extraordinary things. The report in front of councillors is a request by the trust to extend the current $1 million loan for a further 5 years. The recommendation of the report is to extend the loan with an interest rate of council's cost of borrowing plus 20 basis points, which means that it's cost neutral to the council and to the ratepayer. There are a number of other options considered within the report that were discounted and not recommended by staff. The option that most reflects the trust's submission this morning is 4.2, extend the term of the loan with an interest rate lower than the council's cost of borrowing, and the trust are asking for a 0% interest rate. The advantages of that are primarily that cricket would avoid paying a portion of the interest ordinarily charged to a loan of this nature. All of our other loans carry this. The recent loan to softball for facilities in Wainoni had an interest rate of cost of borrowing plus 20 basis points. A recent loan to the Governor's Bay Trust had an interest rate very similar. A recent loan to the restoration of the Shands building, Shands and Trinity building, had an interest rate similar, so it's reasonably common practice. The disadvantages to the council and to the ratepayer for granting a loan at 0% interest rate is there's an additional cost to council. We've modelled the cost over a 3-year term, and it's $147,650. If council resolves to make this interest-free for a 5-year term, there'll be an increase, probably a cost to council just shy of $250,000. There is no capacity within our budgets to support this. This will be an additional cost. It may come as an offset against council's general contribution to cricket, a copy of which has been sent to councillors this morning. We feel that cricket have chosen not to implement the constitutional process to raise a player levy, and the report explains the reasons why, and John Owen Lee have touched on that as well. But we do note that a development of the Hagley Sports Centre has been prioritised over the repayment of the loan. I think that needs to be considered. We already have an ongoing relationship, a security agreement, and if over the course of a loan extension of 5 years, the cricket really cannot pay back the loan and they are experiencing difficulties, we've got existing ways and means of addressing those concerns, and we can always come back to the council. So within our broader relationship, there are still levers that can be pulled without committing to an interest-free loan up front. Turning to the main report itself, the recommendation is to approve the loan extension, but at an interest rate of council's cost of borrowing plus 20 basis points. And section 3 of the council report is very, very clear on why that is. Probably the last comment that I'd like to make is the if the whole of cricket cannot afford the an interest rate cost of $147,650 over the next 3 years, that will come as a surprise to us because we've been working with the organisation for over a year on this. That's probably all we have to say on the report. But I'd just like to introduce David Bailey, Council's Recreation and Sports Services Manager, who has more details on the Council's contribution to cricket and the relationship, and has been involved in some of these discussions over the year. So through you, Mayor Phil, we're happy to answer any questions councillors may have.
Right. Have we got any questions? Melanie would like to move it. Aaron, are you question or second? Sarah's seconding it. Okay. So Aaron, Councillor Kewen has a question.
Yeah, so on the some of the points raised by the deputation around the facility being provided and its benefit to the city, although they didn't touch on that enough, I would have asked a question around that. When you turn the lights on at night to host an event, that has a value to the city. Why does this not have an attached report like from Christchurch NZ, which we get on other things that, when we host these events, it makes all this money and all these people come and stay and this many million people see it on TV, so that has a value. So essentially that interest cost could be taken out of, for instance, the Christchurch NZ bid budget, because rather than bidding for new events, we can turn on the cricket lights and have a big crowd. So it would make no sense to turn them off and have no lights, no night games, no events. Does that kind of make sense?
Thank you, Councillor Kewen. This is a loan report. This is a report in respect to a request for a loan extension and covers that. It doesn't cover the wider economic implications of hosting national and international events. Probably the only other thing that I would say, the original development, maintenance and ongoing contribution towards the Oval is justified by the exposure Christchurch gets. So the value of that is already allowed for within Christchurch's substantial ongoing investment. Perhaps, David, you might have something to add?
No, John, I think you've summarised it well.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Scandrick.
Yeah, following on from Councillor Kewen's comments, with regards to the Oval, it's just not the lights. There's a whole range of things that council picks up financially to ensure that it looks as good as it. And I do appreciate it. It is recognised as one of the most beautiful ovals in the world. But that would be close to 200,000 per annum. Would that be right? 150 to 200, if you started weighing those things up?
Yeah, so the figures that we circulated this morning were simply the care of the OPEX cost of the ground. The investment that goes into the Hagley Park precinct and as a whole is substantially more to make the place as beautiful and as attractive as it is to the people that get to participate and the people that get to watch.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Councillor Johansson.
I was just trying to understand about the player levy. Do we know how many members Canterbury Cricket has and what the actual levy would be, what quantum of levy would be required to pay back the loan?
Unfortunately, I don't have that data to hand, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm looking on their website, they had 22,000 members. So for $500,000, it doesn't seem like a levy would be so hard. I mean, the fees are about $310 a year, so $5 a player wouldn't seem to be a big burden. But is there any more you can give us an understanding about the impact of the levy and why that was rejected?
I think the community game answered their perspective when we entered into the loan negotiations at the start of the process. It was put forward as a proposition that would be feasible.
As far as the loan report is concerned, the Canterbury Cricket through the Trust have advised that they'll not be undertaking this and not be raising a levy. So we have to take that as read in our evaluation and recommendation to the council.
From the information that we've got, I was just kind of trying to understand, outside of New Zealand cricket and Canterbury cricket, what benefit do the lights provide to the community cricket?
So based on plans for this year for participation, about 15% of the usage of the oval is within community cricket, sort of junior and club cricket, and there are other events that do go on, and some of those do occur in the evenings with the lights, but the predominance is for Canterbury Cricket Association, the games that they have, and the international cricket events that we host.
Okay, you're right. Councillor Hanson, you done? Thank you. Councillor Templeton, please.
Thanks so much. So one of the new things that's come in this time round is the potential for the trustees not to sign the documents. Do you know what the implication of that would be? So in the terms and conditions of the loan, there must be something that is sit there as a guarantee on the repayments.
Yeah, as in the report, Councillor Templeton, Christchurch City Council has a first-ranking security agreement over the assets of the trust, lights, pavilion, and so forth. That doesn't extend to the Hagley Sports Centre. Obviously a trust not being able to meet its obligations, the directors, the trustees are withdrawing. It's really a situation that absolutely no one wants, because we've had such a fruitful partnership. I guess the thrust of the officer advice is within the whole of cricket, there is the capacity to meet this interest cost, and we will continue to work with cricket in 585 different ways and work with the trust over the term of the loan. And if things happen and we do take a tumble, there are mechanisms that we can come back and relook, and we will.
Okay, Councillor Barber and then Councillor Scandrett.
Thanks for that. Just in terms of council's community capacity building, I understand that City Council staff have spent 334 hours working for cricket in general. Could you basically explain what they do, council staff?
So I'm very privileged to, one of my duties is to lead a team that provides council support to enable community sport and regional sport to happen in our city within many of the venues and other spaces as well. And so one of the service level agreements we have within the long-term plan is to provide 4,000 hours of time to actually, from staff time, to work alongside in partnership with community sport to enable them to achieve their objectives that align with our objectives. We track what we do. Cricket at the moment receives the highest amount of time investment from our staff to work with them. That can cover any range from working with St Albans and their plans to move from their current location to another location, the same with Riccarton. It includes staff supporting applications to Sport NZ to receive funding for the Hagley Sports Centre. It includes working with regional level performance to go what sort of assets do they need, and so it covers a whole range of things, including supporting them with some of their ethnic and multicultural investments that they do as well.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that. And just perhaps another quick follow-up. So when talking about the capital investment, I see here that that we've provided multi-million-dollar investments in the establishment of facilities at Hagley, but you talk about pitch, the embankment, the practice wickets, the number 2 oval, surrounding cricket ground improvements, ground facilities. Would it be fair to say that Christchurch City Council has been heavily involved in supporting cricket in their pastimes?
Councillor Barber, I think that reflects both sides, cricket, the Cricket Trust and the council. As council representatives, we are incredibly grateful to the trust and cricket, and We are also incredibly grateful to the council for co-investing in what we've got. And this is a very, very difficult conversation. But whatever we're trying to communicate, it's by no means, lowering the contribution of any of the players, the council and the sport of cricket and the trust. Working well together, it's fantastic. We've achieved a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Scandrett, please.
Yeah, just with regards to the main pavilion and the other buildings, I know Venues Otatahi, which is our own events management company, runs that facility. Do we also cover the cost of running that, as in maintenance, etc.?
So Nigel, my boss, had better hand on the actual data, but yes, there is a management agreement that exists between the Trust and Venues Otatahi to enable that facility to be used for the benefits of cricket and other sporting activities that can occur at Hagley Park. I believe the actual operating costs for them to do so comes at a cost to VO / as a cost to council.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Kewen, please.
Yeah, John, do we have any other community loans that are interest-free?
The answer will be yes. We've got a number of community loans. Council's got a number of loans that are interest-free. And I can probably give you a couple of examples. Isaac Theatre Royal, there was a loan undertaken in 2013 for some repairs, interest-free. There are a number of loans at an interest rate of 2%. They are struck at the time, usually smaller community groups, Kilmarnock. As the cost to council of its loans has increased, obviously the cost of community loans has increased. And I guess that the latest batch, the latest series that we bought before the council reflect the current interest rate. I gave a couple of examples earlier. So they're arranged, Councillor Kewen. Right.
So the precedent or benchmark going forward is that all community groups will be paying 5.4 odd percent.
The default position is council's cost of borrowing plus 20 basis points, and that can vary up or down according to the decision of the council.
Right, okay. And then do you have an answer to the point that was raised in the deputation around cricket versus rugby and the outcomes of Jade Stadium?
Again, I'd have to point out that the purpose and focus of this report is a loan extension. I believe that some of the conversations around rugby and cricket influenced council's decision to invest in the Hagley Oval and get that one off the ground. But apart from that, this really isn't a legacy report on what may or may not have come out of the wind-up of Jade Stadium, Lancaster Park.
Okay, and then finally, the other one is around equity and inclusion in sport, that cricket made the claim around some areas where there's been a drop-off in the game due to the costs of being involved. Do you think this could make it worse? And then is that not a concern?
There's no doubt that the cost of living is creating some pressures on participation in sport. We're fortunate as a city, though, across our range of sports, that our growth has actually been 3% increase across sports in general, and the people are making different decisions for different reasons. As John's already talked to, the ability for the community of cricket, which is made up of about 4 or 5 different organisations within our city and within our takiwa, is that they have assets within their community, as seen with the way that community clubs are actually investing in substantial assets in Elmwood and substantial assets in Sydenham for the gains of the community. And so I think that the community is well positioned to be able to reach into its community and look after its community. It is also one of the sports one of the 2 sports in New Zealand which actually has national down investment into community cricket, and so it's in an extremely fortunate position compared to a whole lot of other community sports. They're ranked 3rd in the amount of money they have nationally, yet they're ranked 8th in the amount of participations they have.
Without putting Mr. Bailey on the spot, I don't think there's any current plans to lower or change the existing council community investment in the game. He's nodding. Thanks.
Councillor Cotter, please.
Got it. So, would there be any option, and you might not be able to answer this, but I'm not sure, for either Sport New Zealand or Sport Canterbury to assist with a levy, for a temporary levy for 3 years? Is that something they would fund? Or are they more about equipment and programs? I'm just not sure. Is that worth investigating?
I think I'm not aware that it's been a sort of position that Sport Canterbury has taken in other situations, or Sport NZ. We have regular communication with national sporting bodies, Sport NZ, Sport Canterbury, about the challenges that exist within our community now and in the past to enable people to participate and support them to participate. We're constantly coming up with innovations where we can collectively increase the value, and definitely within cricket we've been able to do that across the range of activities, both at community and international and regional sport, where we're actually providing value gain to the ratepayer, value gain to the sport, for example, the ability for them to be able to raise sponsorship, substantial sponsorship money on council assets for reinvestment back into the community. And we'll keep doing that where it works out well for both of our objectives.
So the difficulty that we have is that we've heard from the trust that they can't afford it. They can't afford to pay the interest on this loan, but we've heard from you that you believe they can.
You've heard from us. We've been engaging with the Trust and Canterbury Cricket for the past year on this. They had a number of discussions. You've heard the amount that the interest on the loan will cost, and you've had a snapshot of some of the budgets involved, the capital sums, the operational subsidies. We are saying within the confines of a productive relationship, a loan over time, we would be very, very surprised whether this could not be afforded. It may require some reprioritisation, some refocus. But at this point in time, we can't see a reason why this could not be accommodated within our wider relationship, given its size.
So basically, then you're saying to us, let's if we agree with your recommendation, and the wheels start to get wobbly, you're there with some help down the track. You're not going to hang them out to dry.
Goodness no, we've got the recommendation is underpinned by a long and trusting, mutually supportive relationship, which will continue through the loan and in all aspects of the game, community to international. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I'm just get a bit concerned about time. We've got a few more questions, but I'll only let one more, which is Councillor Harrison Hunt, who's been waiting patiently on Zoom. Are you there, young fella?
Oh, is that?
And something I prepared earlier, and here he is.
Quick question I've got is around two actually. The first one is around the interest-free loan, and what are the caveats to the other interest-free loans that we give out, John, in terms of funding?
There tend not to be standard caveats. Council really makes a point of looking at each loan on its circumstances and its merits. We do follow our principles. As I explained to Councillor Kewen earlier on, our default position on interest is really covering the council's cost of borrowing. We do not aim to add a premium on to collect additional revenue. Some other philanthropic organisations do that. The council chooses not to. So our only default position is the cost of borrowing plus a little margin. Apart from that, we really endeavour to look at every organisation, every loan on its merits, and council tends to take that in whatever funding conversation it has. It's one of the advantages of being a local authority. We can do that.
No, cheers, John. I'm not going to ask any other questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, David. Thank you, John. We've got a mover and seconder, so I'll rip into debate. Please. Who Councillor Templeton.
I'm really happy to support the extension of the loan today, but not interest-free. This was really controversial at the time. I don't know if people remember, and in fact we ended up voting on it twice because there were issues initially with the perception of a government underwrite, and then we discovered that that wasn't there. But throughout this process, when we were asked for the loan, we were assured that there would be no problems paying it back, that they were good for it all. And that's what got it across the line. What I wouldn't like to do here is to set a precedent whereby people come to us, tell us they can meet loan requirements, knowing in the back of their minds that they can come back later and say, oh, actually, let's just do it interest-free. We've heard from staff that they believe that the loan requirements can be met, and that if anything does happen, that they are willing to work with Canterbury Cricket, with the Trust, to make sure that the wheels don't fall off completely. So I'm comfortable going ahead with this now. There are years to go, and I think that the cricket community need to pull together and help us do what the Trust said that they would do, and pay this off.
Thank you. Councillor Scandrett.
Yeah, look, thank you. I concur with Councillor Templeton. I have no problem extending the loan. We have a good relationship with Canterbury Cricket, and it is a very important relationship. But we have to cover our bases. As everyone knows, we're getting into pretty shallow water, and we've got to be responsible with the ratepayers. With the deputation, the discussion with regards over the Jade Stadium, etc., the rugby versus cricket, that was a deal with eyes wide open, and whatever that was. Maybe there should have been harder negotiation, but that's the deal that was done. Surprised with the comment with regards to the Mainzeal decision, as we are technically all directors sitting here at this table, and some of us are directors on external boards, etc. Directors have always had responsibility with oversight of the future sustainability of an entity, whatever that is, and its guidance, but also its fiscal responsibility, ensuring that it is sustainable financially and solvent. And so that hasn't changed because of the Mainzeal decision. That is a responsibility of a director and boards of directors, always has been. And also there is Venues Otatahi manages the cricket pavilion on their behalf, maintains it, but also returns them 7% of turnover, including the advertising from camera towers, etc. So maybe there is something there, hopefully in the future, that can pick that up a bit. But that again is negotiation with boards, etc. So I'm more than happy to support the staff recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Coker, please.
Thanks. I think it's actually a shame that we're here today to look at an extension to this loan to the Canterbury Cricket Trust. It was this potential for this situation that I actually voted against it first time round. Of course, I understand the challenges of COVID, but it's a shame that with the large number of members in the Canterbury Cricket Association, that they have been unable to put in place that levy to cover a portion of the loan, especially as it was part of the arrangement and it was with expectations that that loan was first agreed to by council 3 years ago. I will support the extension of the loan, and I agree with staff that the interest should continue to be charged, as it's really important that this loan comes at no cost to ratepayers. Everyone with debt that accrues interest knows the faster the loan is repaid, the lower the overall cost. So I encourage the Canterbury Cricket Trust and Association to require a contribution from their members to cover the loan and get it repaid.
Okay, have we got any more debate? With that, I will put the motion. All those in favour of the staff recommendation? Aye. Against? Aye. Aaron? Councillor Kewen. Okay. Thank you. That's carried. Thank you very much.